Hey guys, Alex and Dad from 7th Hour Films back again with Doctor Who. Last time around was Amy's Choice. What was that one about?
Kind of an odd episode. Guy shows up and he essentially is a Dream Lord. We never heard of that before. I thought he might be the Master in some form. But he puts Amy and Rory and the Doctor into two separate worlds, essentially making them make a choice, because if they make the wrong one, they're all going to die or something like that. What it comes down to, though, is does Amy have an obsession with the Doctor, or is she in love with Rory? And there's old people who are going crazy. It didn't make much sense, but it ultimately led Amy to realize that she was, although she was fascinated by the Doctor, she was in love with Rory and was going to marry him.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly.
Yeah. And then at the end, they figured it out. They figured out that basically what had happened was this little pollen had gotten into the TARDIS, heated up, and forced them into the dream. And it basically feeds on darkness, so that's why it became such a nightmare of the Dream Lord, is because it fed on the darkness within the Doctor. So. And
he ended up saying something to the effect of that the Dream Lord was his worst enemy, and it turned out it was basically himself.
Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much where we left off. We're on to a two-parter today. Oh. Also, I'm just going to say this week we will have our review of Torchwood Season 2. We're probably not going to film it today, but
okay.
But we'll probably film it soon, because with any luck, we won't talk for 8 years about something. So, but we'll get that, and it'll just be a review, just going over Season 2, going over the different character arcs, or lack thereof, sometimes, and the different plot points, and then we're going to start working on Torchwood Season 3, but again, I'm thinking that's all just going to be combined into one big video, so yeah, so expect that this week. Or today, maybe I might even just post it same day as we're posting this episode. So, anywho. Yeah, you got anything else before we get started?
Not really. You accidentally opened up the thumbnail there last week, and I still didn't know who they were, so you don't really need to continue putting that up there, unless that's today.
That is today.
Oh, okay.
That is today. The main thing is I don't want you thinking about it for too long before we get to it. Yeah. So yeah, but I mean it's fine at this point. So so yeah, I guess that's it. Okay, let's just get going.
But who is this creature?
2020 AD.
Terrible cruel.
21 kilometers, folks. Further than anyone's ever drilled into the earth.
There is a
amazing work.
well in western Oklahoma that is
How much further do you think we can
13,000 feet. It's almost
Exciting.
3 miles, I think.
Right, off you go. Get out. My gap for the night.
I'm guessing this is oil or coal, although I don't know if oil being drilled in Wales.
No, they're just trying to dig through to China. Finally, we're going to get the tunnel.
By the way, drilling and wastewater injection in Oklahoma has created a swarm of earthquakes over the last 15 years, largest being a 5.8 on the Richter scale.
I did a college presentation over that many years ago.
Oh, sure. Put your hands down into steaming stuff.
No, Mo.
It's the Mole Men.
Yeah. They came to put the L and the E on the end of his name.
That was Chibnall, the guy who takes over.
Behold!
Yeah. Later.
Rio!
No.
Eh.
So, 2020-ish, 10 years in your future, wrong continent for real, and admit.
The distant year of 2020.
Why are those people waving at us?
It's you two.
No, we're here. How can we be up there?
10 years in your future, come to relive past glories, I'd imagine. Humans, you're so nostalgic.
We're still together in 10 years.
No need to sound so surprised.
Hey, let's go talk to them. We can say hi.
Spice work.
Go on, I'll catch you both up.
Doctor!
Catch you up. Or then here we say catch up with you.
Meh.
I run the Meals on Wheels for the whole valley. This is my son, Elliot.
Where's your uniform?
Don't be cheeky, Elliot. It's plain clothes. CID, is it? Anyway, it's over here.
Well, now you're in trouble.
Now unauthorized personnel.
That is breaking and entering.
Why did I break? Sonicking and entering. Totally different.
You don't got laws for that.
Nobody has touched the grave since my aunt was buried. But when we took it open, the body was gone. How is that possible?
Well, it means that Bugs Bunny took the wrong turn at Albuquerque.
I've got no idea.
Blue grass.
Oh, please, have you always been this disgusting?
No. That's recent. What?
Ever since the fish fingers and custard.
Yeah.
Oh, Bill.
There's only one explanation as far as I can see.
What's that then?
The graves eat people. Devour them whole.
Sarcophagus.
No trace.
Eh.
Not sure about that.
They didn't steal the body from above. They couldn't have got it from the sides. Only other thing is, they get in from underneath.
Not very likely, though.
When you've eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth.
Thank you, Sherlock Holmes.
Sorry?
Sherlock Holmes.
That's what he's been...
The audiobook.
Yay, he's been listening to it.
The graves round you eat people.
I should listen to some Sherlock audiobooks.
The word sarcophagus literally means eater of the body.
Meh.
Are they dead?
Sorry, did you just say jungle planets?
You're not making any sense, man.
Excuse me, I'm making perfect sense. You're just not keeping up. The earth, the ground beneath our feet. Whatever bioprogram the earth is on its way up. Now.
They're gonna be the plot of the next King Kong movie.
Right, guys, we need to be ready for whatever's coming up. I need a map of the village marking where the cameras are going.
I can't do the words, I'm dyslexic.
Oh, that's all right. I can't make a decent meringue. Feel like your life depends on it, Elliot.
Well, you said we're supposed to be defending ourselves.
Oh, Ambrose, you're better than this. I'm asking nicely. Put them away.
Yeah, that was comforting.
Yeah, good old cricket bat.
Meh.
Hey.
Like you didn't know.
I can't open it. I keep stuck in the wood walls.
Anytime you want to help. Can't you sonic it? It doesn't do wood.
That is rubbish.
Oh, don't just a sonic.
Just get the door open, for goodness sake.
I'm sure the 11 and 12-year-olds sitting at home were scared spitless by this sequence.
It's terrifying to build it up so much. Maybe it's friendly. Yeah. Huh. It's more literal sunglasses meant for heat. Oh. Good job.
We got it. Defending the planet with Meals on Wheels. What is that?
Looks like we scared them off.
I don't think so. Now, both sides have hostages.
Well, they cleaned her up.
Even they have standards.
Our sensors detected a threat to our life support systems. The warrior class was activated to prevent the assault. We will wipe the vermin from the surface and reclaim our planet.
Do we have to say vermin? They're really very nice.
Primitive apes.
Extraordinary species. You attack them, they'll fight back. But there's a piece to be brokered here.
You could have mentioned that. You could have mentioned the drilling was an accident.
Below the surface, to find the rest of the tribe, to talk to them.
You're gonna negotiate with these aliens.
They're not aliens. They're Earth-lians. What's known as a Silurian race,
Of
or
course.
some would
Yeah.
argue Eocene, or Homo reptilia. Not monsters, not evil. Well,
Just green.
only as evil as you are. Nobody dies today.
Third time's the charm with the Silurians, right?
Don't forget what happened the first time. The Brigadier bombed you out of existence.
Or the second time, where the Fifth Doctor failed to save all of them. But again, third time's the charm. We can do this.
My death shall ignite a war, and every stinking ape shall be wiped from the surface of my beloved planet.
The planet of the apes.
I know apes
Planet
better
of the
than you know
Silurians.
yourselves.
It's probably fine. You're just gonna turn into the Hulk. Some good old caves.
It's like this is every day to you.
Not every day. Every other day.
Eh. At least every week.
It wouldn't be vegetation that far down, you would think.
Yeah. You would think.
Maybe more than a dozen. Maybe more like an entire civilization living beneath the earth.
It's like the ending of that one where they opened up the cave and there were billions of Daleks in it.
Oh yeah. That I remember that catching me off guard. Like it doesn't feel like they're wrapping up the episode, and then it just stops, and I was like, "Oh, geez, I wasn't ready." So
that's the way I feel about them.
Yeah. So that's why we do. That's why we're doing two in the same video nowadays. So,
and I have to say the female doctor, whatever she is, who was working in the drill site.
Yeah.
What was her name? Her name? Oh, Nazreen. Now, I know this is going to sound odd, but when you're talking about companions, I know that we always have the young people from the 20th century because, you know, they represent the audience. But someone like that is in the mold of Barbara and Romana, in that she very quickly understands what's going on, doesn't necessarily understand it, but she understands the science behind it. She is somewhat of a scientist herself, but understands that this guy seems to know what he's talking about, therefore I will trust him, you know, implicitly, and, you know, occasionally gives him the old swift kick in the pants. Just a small tribe, you said, about a dozen or more. Yeah, explain this to me.
Well, yeah, so... Well, there we have it, the return of the Silurians.
All right. Now, we know that we've seen the Silurians twice before. Is what they're trying to say here that there are pockets of Silurians all around the Earth, or are they just concentrated here in the British Isles?
I think this is implying that there are many tribes throughout the Earth, because this is specifically a different tribe than the ones we've encountered before. I don't fully even remember the Fifth Doctor episode, like what happened in that episode. All I remember is at the end, all the Silurians died, and the Doctor said, I failed them again, basically. So...
And didn't Pertwee also meet up with their cousins, the Sea Devils?
Yes, those are the ocean-dwelling...
Silurians.
Yeah, a split off, but genetically, essentially the same thing. They're both closer to each other than they would be to us. Yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting thing with the Silurians, especially because it's just like it's such a tricky situation because immediately it's like, oh well, they're attacking us. They're trying to take our home or something. And it's just like, well, they're not aliens. They are from this Earth, and it was their home 300 million years ago.
Now, this is... What year was this? 2010. 10. All right. Now, I certainly don't want to stir up any controversies here. But this is very similar to a lot of indigenous peoples, shall we say, around the world. You can apply this to the Native Americans, who, if they were to rise up against the government today, of course they don't have an army or anything like that, but they have a legitimate complaint. They were here first. You could apply this to the Palestinians, who, although, theoretically speaking, the Jewish people inherited that land supposedly from God, they were then dispersed through the diaspora. The Arab people took it over for centuries, and then in 1948 it was given back to the Israelis. I thought originally the idea was that it was supposed to be a shared Jewish and Arab state. Apparently that has not worked out in the past 60 some odd years or 50 some odd years. But yeah, it's very much the plight of the indigenous people who said, we were here first. Despite the fact that you have taken over and you have colonized the entire planet with the apes, with the humans, we have a right to this land. And if that means we have to fight back to get it, then we will.
Well, it's an interesting thing, too, because it's like, the way the Doctor says it, it's like, well, yes, technically, you have the right to the land. It was originally yours before the apes, began evolving and everything. But, if anything, I kind of made a joke about it, but it was kind of squatters' rights, too. It's like, it's not like they intentionally came in to colonize this land and take it from the Silurians and stuff. It's just, the Silurians were gone already. They were underground. And then, many more millions of years passed until the apes evolved and eventually became the human race. So it's like, it's nothing inherently inherently malicious towards the Silurians. Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, it's tricky, and I mean, it's one of these things that it's also hard, I feel like, to deal with on this show, because it is kind of a thing of like, okay, but what is the answer going to be? Because have you noticed that we've gone back to the status quo from before the RTD era of aliens don't exist in the public eye, despite the fact, and they've mentioned this specifically, despite the fact that the Daleks stole the planet from space and put it somewhere else, and everyone on Earth saw that. So how do you deal with the Silurians then, and keep the status quo that aliens and monsters don't exist to the general public? Yeah. So it's like, it would be interesting to have a thing where it's like, the Silurians, they're here on the surface, and that just becomes like an ongoing thing. Every so often we check back in with them as they try to integrate with human culture. I was just gonna put it out there. That's not what happens. So, I don't know. It's like this difficult thing, honestly. Maybe just because the show can never end. Like, you can do this in just a regular sci-fi show, just something set on Earth. These reptiles, these reptilian people, come to the surface of the Earth, and you have to deal with, Silurian rights and everything, and how they fit in, where are they going to go, what land should they get and stuff. You can do that in a show that, is 10 episodes long and premieres on HBO. But with this has to now keep going forever and ever and ever, even to the fact that it's like, oh, at the beginning, you see in the distance, there's Amy and Rory in the distance in the year 2020, going back to sea, and it's like, and now here we are, 5 years later, after that's happened, and it's just like, eventually we will catch up with whatever time they portray on this show. So, I don't know. It's a difficult thing.
Now, the Amy and Rory at the beginning on the hill waving to them, I'm assuming that has to do with the reference basically to the rift in time and space, to the crack in time and space. I don't know for sure, but that's, now that I'm aware that is an ongoing season arc about the rift in Amy's bedroom wall, that has to be somehow tied into that. Again, don't know about it, but that seems to me.
You did everything in your power not to say Amy's crack, and I will not let it slide. So, I saw there was one comment that was like, so how long before Amy's crack becomes not funny? And I replied, I don't know. It's been funny for like 7 years now, so. And it is stupid and it is juvenile. And that sentence ended a long time ago, so.
Let's move on.
Yeah, we should probably get moving on.
But I do like Nazarene.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to put it out there. This is probably the best thing that Chris Chibnall has ever written.
You told us you were the police.
It was a misunderstanding.
I specifically didn't say anything. So.
The doctor.
That's much better, thanks. Not got any celery, have you? No. Long time ago, I met another tribe of Homo reptilia. Similar, but not identical.
Others of our species have survived.
Well.
The humans attacked them. They died, I'm sorry.
Vermin race.
You know, next time, lie!
What?
I didn't want to do that. Are you alright? Just tell me, what's the cure for my dad?
He's vermin. He deserves a painful death. I am giving you a chance. I knew it would be you. The one with the most to lose. The weakest.
How do we help you? Tell us what to do.
I knew this would come. And soon the war.
You're not dying. I'm not gonna let you. Not today.
Start a chest compression.
This isn't the way.
I gotta say, they look a lot too like the Draconians.
Prepare them for execution.
Do we have to do a tribunal first?
Sorry. Amy, I thought I'd lost you.
Well, because I was sucked into the ground. You're so clingy.
Tony Mac!
Don't do this! No!
Stop!
You want to start a war while the rest of us sleep, Restek?
Huh.
The Ibs are attacking us.
You brought a dude in a robe.
Bring a Leia, we hand her over, we can land this after all gonna work, I promise. Got a dash, hurry up.
But the moment we get down there, everything will fall apart.
We have to return her. You deserve at least that.
Either you watch Weekend at Bernie's.
I'd say you've got to find whatever happens today will change future events, create its own timeline, its own reality. The future pivots around you, here, now. So do good. For humanity. And for Earth.
Nobody on the surface is going to go for this idea. It is just too big a leap.
Come on. Be extraordinary. I never meant to harm your child. Malachi.
And sorry about dissecting you, by the way.
As ambassadors for our species, we all had too much to lose.
So, what about the areas that aren't habitable to us? Australian outback. Sahara Desert, Nevada Plains. They're all deserted.
And you can weekend to Vegas.
But what happened?
We can bring new sources of energy, new methods of water supply, new medicines, scientific advances.
No, they won't like that.
We were a great civilization. You provide a place for us on the surface. We'll give you knowledge and technology beyond humanity's dream.
Thank goodness that works.
Stop right there.
Doctor, shed load of those creatures coming our way.
We're surrounded in here.
To blow up my life's work.
Yes. Sorry. No nice way of putting that.
Right, well, You're going to have to do it before the drill hits the city. In
11 minutes, 40 seconds.
Yes! Squeaky bum time.
Yes, but the explosion is going to catch...
So, here's the deal. Everybody listening. Haldane, you activate shutdown. I'll amend the system, set your alarm for 1,000 years' time. 1,000 years to sort the planet out, to be ready, pass it on as legend or prophecy or religion, but somehow make it known. This planet is to be shared.
2120, just before the Daleks invade.
I get you.
Yeah, the perfect time for the Silurians to come back.
There's not much time for us to get from here to the surface, Doctor.
Super squeaky bum time. Get ready to run for your lives.
I mean, we just gotta get to the TARDIS.
Program on your friend.
I'm not going to see you again, am I?
I'll be here. Always. Love you, boy. You be sure you get some safe.
Let's put it like this. You were gonna put him in the ground someday anyway. Yeah. It's just a little further down.
Toxic fumigation initiated. Return to cryo.
No!
Toxic fumigation initiated. Return to cryo.
This is not the order!
Those guys are not that loyal.
I'm sorry.
I thought for a moment our race and the humans.
Yeah. Me too.
Doctor.
We are 0 for 3 this time around.
Doctor!
Thank you, Doctor.
The pleasure was all mine.
Come and look for us.
1,000 years. Get out of here.
No questions, just get in. Yes, I know, it's big. Ambrose, sick bay, upstairs, left, then left again. Get yourself fixed up. Come on, 5 minutes and count.
No hair.
Oh no.
Where there's an explosion, there's shrapnel.
Doctor, you can't put your hand in there.
Why not?
Okay, you shouldn't. Eh.
I've got something.
What is it?
No. Something.
I don't know. Doctor!
She was in when the gas started. She must have been poisoned.
You! Okay, get in the TARDIS, both of you.
Did this! Doctor!
Oh.
I'm sorry.
No. Rory died again.
Will never have lived at all. Amy, move away from the light. If it touches you, you'll be wiped from history. Amy, move away now.
No, I'm not leaving him. We have to help him.
The light's already around him. We can't help him. Rory still lives in your mind.
What were you saying? You're very quiet. Oh, hey, look. There I am again. Hello, me!
Are you okay?
I thought I saw someone else there for a second.
Nope. It's only ever been Amy.
I need a holiday. Didn't we talk about Rio?
And the greater losses that were still to come.
Okay.
Oh, that's what he pulled out of the crack.
Gotta blow up the TARDIS.
Alrighty.
Alright, so the Kraken time comes back right at the very end. We assume somewhere down the line Chibnall was thinking he'd bring the Silurians back.
Or they were thinking, well, if the show's still on in 1,000 years' time, we'll make a follow-up episode. So, which is not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, who knows where we could be 1,000 years from now?
Well, we'd be ready for the Dalek invasion, almost.
Yeah. Well, no, wait.
Was it 2051 or 2151?
No, I can't remember.
No, I think it was
No, wait.
21.
Yes, but we're That's 100 years. This would be 3020, because that's 1,000 years in the future. We got our math wrong, folks. All right. so that's fine. By the way, if you're watching this in the year 3020, go ahead and post down in the comments. The two of us are long dead, but maybe
we're not.
Maybe there's a descendant somewhere down there. It's not looking likely, though. So, but I don't know. Maybe somewhere down the line there is someone descended from us that can reply back to you. That makes a lot of assumptions. I mean, that would basically be like if a Viking left a note that was like, hey, in 1,000 years' time, if they left a time capsule, it's like, go see if you can find a descendant of mine. It's like, well, I guess that's not impossible, but it's also difficult. So that is the end of the Silurian two-parter, and quite honestly, probably one of the best things that Chris Chibnall has ever written. I don't want that to maybe instill worry about the Chris Chibnall era, but we'll get there. We'll get there later. So,
well, I got to say the makeup effects again, right in the middle of that episode, I thought that's probably the best makeup since the Draconians.
Yeah,
because it does allow for a lot of facial movement. It is interesting. You have essentially people on both sides who simply cannot seem to compromise. One who allowed her emotions to get the best of her. The other who is simply a warrior and simply cannot abide the fact that there are people who think that warriors should only be used when you're attacked as defense. So, we've been struggling with this literally since the dawn of time.
Oh, yeah.
Of the people who say, the best defense is a good offense.
Yeah.
And it's just, that is literally the plague of humanity.
Yeah. It is the thing, too, because it's like watching this, I guess in 2010, this message kind of worked a little bit better. Well, I mean, it's kind of two sides of the message, but it's like, on the one hand, it's like, Ambrose, she does not represent all of humanity in the same way that Restak does not represent all of the Silurians. If the Silurians came to the surface, there's this hope that we could make things work. We can get them to the Australian outback, we can get them to the Sahara Desert, we can get them to Nevada. Nobody lives in Nevada. So it's this great hopeful thing. However, watching this episode 15 years after it came out in 2025, there is a part of me that's like, oh, guys, it's never gonna work. Even when Eldane is talking about, like, oh, think of all the great things that we could give to humanity. We could give you alternative energy sources. And I just think, oh, they wouldn't go for that. Now, don't get me wrong. We should go for that. That sounds incredible. Alternate energy sources. However, the oil companies, the coal companies, and every gas company will do everything in their legal and illegal power to shut that down and wipe out the Silurian race. And that's just the first thing that he mentioned.
Now, this is something that I used to say in my world history classes and in Oklahoma history classes, because oil and gas production is the number one industry in our state. Here's the thing. We can squabble about oil and gas all we want. We're not going to see an end in our lifetime. But what the oil and gas people fail to realize is that those resources are not renewable. They are finite. And if we keep using them simply at the rate we're using them now, they will be gone in 300 years. Now, again, we don't have to worry about that. We're not going to be here in 300 years. But at some point, the Earth will have to go to renewable resources because there's just a finite amount of fossil fuels left.
I mean, I think that's the thing, though, is that the oil companies, the oil and gas companies, at least their CEOs, they understand that too. And their thought is, well, we'll be dead by then too. That's someone else's problem. In the meantime, I have money. And I think that's the main issue. And it's like, and I can spend this money on a presidency so that I have more money later. So it's the entire American political system, and sucks, It sucks.
It does.
And we're not alone, but we're very loud about it. So,
and what they also either fail to understand or again thinks that it won't happen fast enough to affect their lives is that the use of fossil fuels is also polluting the planet.
Yeah.
Right? So even if you talk about, wood is renewable, you can always grow more trees. Yes, but burning wood will ultimately still pollute the planet because it will produce the carbon dioxide and the smoke that will, again, disrupt the sun's rays coming to the earth and ultimately end up. But at some point,
someday,
somebody will realize we are so close to the end that we have to do something different. Now, we got the technologies now. I mean, there are infinite numbers of renewable technologies that we could use. And some countries, many of them very small, are understanding that, and they're switching over to, almost completely, 90 to 99% renewable energies. It's just a matter of convincing the greedy capitalists of the world that not only are you going to run out, but you may not even live to see that, because if you pollute the planet too much, we're all going to die anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically a thing of convince them that this can also make you money. If you really have to see it like that, it's just I don't know, man. It's just because that's always the thing. It's like, oh, what happens to all the people, in the oil industry when it's like they're going to lose their jobs? And it's like, so in the meantime, teach them how to turn on a solar panel and set it up. I mean, it's literally setting up a giant flat thing in the middle of, sometimes not even nowhere, just putting it on a roof, and there you go. I think someone could figure that out. Yeah. And it's but that's the problem with the CEOs of America, is that they are all inherently evil. Like at least like 99% of them. So, again, it's sort of the two sides of the coin with this episode, where it's just like, which I mean is obviously very much portrayed in the episode as well, is that it's like all right, here's this family, they're just a normal family, you got mom, dad, the kid, the grandpa, and his work buddy, and they have to represent, and even Amy has to represent, and Rory have to represent the best of humanity, and it's just like it just takes one little thing to screw it all up, and it's just like, so if anything, it's like it's both emblematic and not emblematic of what the human race actually is and how this would end up being. It's like if it were to happen that the humans and the Silurians would coexist, it would take a miracle to pull it off, because even if it's like, well, let's put them in the Sahara Desert, there's going to be someone who's going to say, wait a minute, I own the Sahara Desert, or I own that little land, I don't want them in there, or the I don't know if the Australians count. Just the Australians might be like, what? Good luck to you, mate. We tried. We're here on the coast, and and it's already dangerous enough. If you want the outback, you take the outback. So, and then Nevada. Nevada may be the only place where they would be like, yes, we will fully accept the Silurians in our state, with the one condition that you must go to Vegas at some point. If the Silurians spend money on Vegas, Nevada will welcome them with open arms. So,
well, outside of Las Vegas and Reno, most of Nevada is mining companies and indigenous tribes. So, yeah, I think the tribes would welcome them because they would see the financial benefit of renewable energies. I mean, it's like, and I can't remember, this happened 20, 30 years ago at least, when the tribes began to realize that their federally protected land, like here in Oklahoma, is literally theirs to administrate, then that's when they began to open casinos, because they're saying we have a whole bunch of people in the United States, and I don't want to use the word addicted, but who love to gamble. And if they will gamble at our casino, we will make hundreds of thousands, millions, sometimes even billions of dollars, which we will pay a portion to the United States. We want to be good citizens, but all that money coming in will help education and healthcare on the tribal lands. So the Native Americans, most of the tribes, have figured out a way to work the system that was imposed upon them to at least their partial benefit. And I fully agree with that. I think we have done horrible things to our Native Americans, and if this is the way that they feel they can be compensated, I'm 100% behind that.
Well, yeah. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing with this episode, just seeing, well, and especially now too, because like the first time I watched this, I was like, okay, this is a really interesting episode and stuff. Now watching this episode, I'm like, 0 for 3. We are 0 for 3 on the Silurians. It's between the third Doctor episode where the Brigadier blew them up, the fifth Doctor episode where all of them died now. It's like, well, at least they didn't die at the end. Like two of them died at the end, and that was it. And the ones that really wanted to go to war died at the end. So it's just like we are technically better off, and we have the promise of we're going to make the Earth ready so that in 1,000 years, when the Silurians wake up again, they can be integrated into human society. But still, 0 for 3. This is the third time, and it's not worked.
Well, I hate to bring this up because it was a disaster when we first did it back in the 1830s. But if it is determined in an agreement between the human race and the Silurian race that ultimately they will not be compatible, in 1,000 years, as we have seen, the United States and Europeans and Asians and Africans and South Americans, all of them will have figured out how to put, interplanetary vehicles in space, and the Silurians could then be relocated to a planet that has no indigenous life on it, that can be terraformed, and then they can literally have a planet of their own. Now, again, that had disastrous results in the 1830s, but in 3010, we might be able to solve some of the racial identity politics that we had in the Indian Removal Act.
Maybe. I don't know. Every time the Doctor says, I can help you find a new planet, it never works out for him. So I want one time that actually they take him up on the offer, and they just see, you just see a giant room in the TARDIS that just has an entire species in it. And it's just like, all right, single file out the door, enjoy the new planet. Just one time that has to work. So,
well, it's a Noah's Ark idea. We're gonna relocate you. And
speaking, this is the most ridiculous tangent, but I have to put it on camera somewhere. So there was, and hear me out. There was a recent episode of The Sopranos that I watched where Tony Soprano was basically just reading a book on dinosaurs. He was recovering in the hospital from a wound and stuff. And there was this evangelical pastor that came in, to pray with him and everything. And he looked at the book on dinosaurs and he was like, there are some people out there that would have you, I think we talked about this actually, where they would have you believe that, dinosaurs roamed the earth millions of years ago. And that's not true. The world was created 6,000 years ago. I think we did talk about this, but anyway, so they were like, well, wait, what happened to the dinosaurs then? If they were, running around with Adam and Eve and stuff. And apparently one of the theories then is that all the dinosaurs died in the flood because they weren't saved. For some reason, Noah did not save the dinosaurs. He saved everything else. He saved all other animals, but he didn't save the dinosaurs specifically. Kind of a dick move. I don't know what the dinosaurs did to deserve that, but it gets better. Because on that video where I talked about that, I got a comment from someone who said that they have very peculiar relatives who say that Noah did save dinosaur eggs and put them on the ark. And I thought, what do you mean? What do you mean he saved dinosaur eggs? Then where are the dinosaurs? And And I made a little bit of a joke, and I was just like, I need to get your relatives on a podcast or something, It's just like, I have to figure out what happened to the dinosaurs then. And now it's just going to be left hanging. So just because, you brought up Noah's Ark in that, I just like, I just went on this like train. It's just like, then where are the dinosaurs then?
Well, there's a simple answer to that. One morning on the 40-day journey, Noah wakes up and his wife is making omelets for breakfast. It's like, dear.
Yeah, it's like, they couldn't build a boat big enough to house 2 T-Rexes. So, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's so goofy. It sounds like a joke on Good Omens, where it's just, they did a joke like that about unicorns, where it's just like, oh, well, one of them ran off. It's like, well, you've still got the other one. It's fine. So, I don't know. But, I think there was actually an episode of Voyager, Star Trek Voyager, where it's like they encounter dinosaur people in the Delta Quadrant, and it's like, oh yeah, this is basically an offshoot of dinosaurs that somehow left the Earth millions and millions of years ago, and they evolved into humanoid type creatures. So, if anything, that's kind of like the Silurians. So, it is interesting, when Alea was dying, and it's just like, do chest compressions, and I thought, it's like, where would her heart be? I don't know. It's just like, what, I would try anyway. I would definitely try chest compressions or something. So,
and again, it may be simply the composition of her anatomy, but a taser shouldn't have killed her.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Are lizards weak to electricity? I don't know. Has anyone tried that? I don't think anyone was trying that millions of years ago. So, I don't know. But
it seems to me like with humans, a taser would only kill you if you had some kind of underlying condition, especially a heart condition. But, she's a warrior, so I would imagine she was pretty tough, and a taser shouldn't have killed her. But, then you have no story.
So. Yeah, it's something about, you know what it is? It's specifically because they couldn't have a gun. Because if this was in America, Ambrose would have had a gun and just shot her, and that would have been that. Whereas in here, it's just like, well, we don't have a gun. Because, when she gets, like, and the doctor says, like, oh, we don't do weapons and stuff. She has, like, a cricket bat and a hoe and, like, a shovel, and it's just like, I guess those are weapons. It's like, they're not as advanced as what the Silurians would have, but yeah, but that is pretty much where we're leaving it, so... You got anything else?
I got nothing at this point.
Yeah, so it's time for the Doctor and Amy to just move on, power on. Some crazy stuff happened, but
okay. Now we saw the 11th Doctor in The Doctor's Wife.
Yes.
And Amy and Rory were in that.
Amy and who? I don't know who you're talking about.
All right.
You know how that doesn't work is I specifically said Rory at one point during this discussion. I was like, I shouldn't have said that if I wanted to keep up the gaslighting. What was
Well, it's science fiction. He can come back.
What was I gaslighting you on recently? It was something... Oh, it was about Rose. Every time Rose would appear on screen, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. My horrible gaslighting. So I thought about, like, should I continue that here? It's like, well, he's gone. So I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, they got away. I mean, luckily Reztak, she missed them. And then she died, and the Doctor and Amy got away. So I don't know what you're talking about.
So here's a very weird historical theatrical reference. I guess we'll see Rory on Angel Street. Look it up.
Yeah, I'm not going to remember to look it up. So it's fine. Someone else will look it up, or they'll just know it because they're knowledgeable, and they'll put it in the comments, and I'll be like, "What are we talking about? I don't remember anything that we say in these." That happens. We've said this before, where it's just like, I can't believe you said that. And I was like, what did I say? Huh? You got to timestamp this, and then I'm like, I don't remember saying that. Look, I do a lot of shows in the week, and I'm trying to remember Doctor Who, and my memory gets conflated with other Doctor Who episodes I've already recorded. So, and we got to do Torchwood anyway, so it's, I mean, not today, but some other time. Some other time this week, the Torchwood Season 2 review, you can watch that, and you can watch us complaining for like a half hour to 45 minutes about Torchwood Season 2. So with all of that said, we're Alex and Dad from 7th Hour Films, and we will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of our Doctor Who modern reactions, as well as another playlist with every Doctor Who video that's on the channel. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.